She said she was fine. 17 pages of government forms, 340 pounds in fees, 14 months of a 95-pound dog breathing her out of 3 years of sleepless nights. Then a letter arrived. 45 days, comply or lose him. What happened on that operating table on a Friday morning at 8:15 a.m., nobody saw coming. She told herself she didn't need anyone. She had a job, a 2-bedroom house in Bristol, and a routine that ran like clockwork. She woke at 6 a.m., made coffee for one, drove to work, came home to silence. She said she was fine. She said it to her mother on Sunday phone calls and to her colleagues in the break room. She said it so many times, she almost believed it. Emma Clark was 24 years old when she first saw the copper brown XL bully sitting alone in the corner of Westfield Rescue. Not barking, not pacing, just sitting there with his back to the kennel door, enormous and still, as if he had already accepted that no one was coming. He weighed 95 pounds. His coat was the color of warm copper, his chest wide enough to block a doorway, his jaw built like something carved from solid stone. He had been surrendered by a man who moved abroad and left a single sentence on the intake form: "Too much dog." The shelter worker, a woman named Patricia, was honest. "He's an XL bully," she said. "The breed was banned in England last year. He can't be rehomed without an exemption certificate, a mandatory neutering requirement, and a registered microchip. Most people don't want the paperwork. Most people see that face and walk the other way." Emma didn't walk away. She filled out 17 pages of forms. She paid 340 pounds in exemption fees. She attended 2 mandatory breed assessment sessions on a Tuesday when she should have been sleeping after a 12-hour night shift. She did every single part of it before she even knew his name. His name was Copper. The first week was chaos in the quietest possible way. Copper didn't destroy furniture, he didn't bark at the neighbors, he simply existed at maximum volume. He followed Emma from the kitchen to the hallway to the bathroom, each of his paws landing on the hardwood floor with a sound like someone dropping a heavy book. He didn't fit under the coffee table, he didn't fit beside the couch. He fit wherever he decided, and then everything else rearranged itself around him. By day 4, Emma had lost her armchair. Copper had claimed it between 6:47 a.m. and 7:03 a.m. on a Thursday morning, and the conversation about reclaiming it lasted exactly 3 seconds before she gave up and made her coffee standing at the counter instead. By day 9, she had stopped closing the bathroom door. There was no point. 3 months in, a pattern had formed. Every morning at 6:12 a.m., Copper would press his enormous head against Emma's bedroom doorframe and breathe. Not bark, just breathe, slow and deliberate until the sound found its way through her sleep and pulled her out gently, like someone turning up the volume on the world one careful notch at a time. She had struggled with anxiety since her second year of nursing school. Nights spent staring at the ceiling, the events of the ward replaying on a loop she couldn't switch off. Decisions she second-guessed at 2 a.m. in a room that felt twice the size it should. She had tried medication, journaling, early morning runs. Nothing worked. Copper fixed it without trying. He slept on the floor beside her, and his breathing, deep and unhurried and absolutely certain, was the only thing that had ever genuinely quieted the noise inside her chest. She didn't tell anyone. She just started sleeping through the night for the first time in 3 years, and every morning at 6:12 a.m., she woke up to 95 pounds of dog breathing at her doorframe and understood, quietly, that she had never known silence was supposed to feel something. But here is the part nobody saw coming. Here is the part that almost ended everything. 14 months after Emma signed those 17 pages of forms, a letter arrived from the local council. Copper's exemption required mandatory neutering under the updated XL bully legislation. Non-compliance within 45 days meant the dog would be seized by the authorities. The procedure was scheduled for a Friday morning at 8:15 a.m. at Westside Veterinary Clinic. Emma drove him there herself. She held his face in both hands in the car park for 4 minutes before handing his lead to the vet nurse. Copper turned his head back once before going through the door. Just once. The surgery lasted 40 minutes longer than expected, then another 20. Then the vet called Emma into a small room at the end of the hallway with a look she recognized from her own ward, the kind of look that means, "Sit down." Copper had gone into anaphylactic shock on the table. His blood pressure had collapsed during the procedure. They had stabilized him, but the next 6 hours were critical. Emma sat in the waiting room until 11:47 p.m. with her coat still on. She did not leave, she did not eat. She sat there and willed a dog to keep breathing the way he had taught her to. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, that honestly stings. Stories like this one deserve to be seen. Hit subscribe. You need to know how this ends. He made it through the night. At 9:23 a.m. the following morning, the vet nurse opened the door to the recovery corridor and asked Emma if she wanted to walk him out herself. Emma said yes before the sentence was finished. What happened next, nobody planned. A vet technician had left a phone recording on a shelf near the corridor entrance, capturing the layout of the recovery rooms for a training video. The camera caught everything. Copper walked out of that corridor carrying a small stuffed panda in his mouth. The toy had been placed in his kennel by one of the overnight nurses, something soft and familiar to get him through the dark hours. He had held onto it through the entire recovery. He carried it all the way down that corridor, all the way to Emma, and when he reached her, he dropped it at her feet. Then he pressed his entire 95 pounds of copper brown dog against her legs and didn't move. The video had 9 words on screen when it was posted. He was forced to be neutered, which nearly took his life. Within 48 hours, 4 million people had watched it. Emma wasn't ready for that, but Copper didn't care about 4 million people. He cared about the one person who had filled out 17 pages of forms on a Tuesday morning when she should have been asleep. That afternoon, she brought him home. She sat on the garden patio and he leaned into her slowly, his whole weight shifting sideways until her head came to rest against his back. Neither of them moved for a long time, the kind of stillness that doesn't need a word. She had said she was fine living alone. She had said it to her mother, to her colleagues, to herself every morning over coffee at a table set for one. But sitting in that garden with 95 pounds of copper brown dog pressed against her side, breathing steadily like someone who had simply decided not to give up, she understood something she had not been willing to look at before. She hadn't been fine. She had just been very good at pretending. Today, Copper is 3 years old. He still claims the armchair before Emma is awake. He still breathes her out of sleep at 6:12 every morning. He still follows her from room to room on his steady, deliberate paws, and the small stuffed panda from the recovery corridor sits on the kitchen counter because Emma has not been able to bring herself to put it anywhere else. The government called him a banned breed. The intake form called him too much dog. 45 days of legislation tried to reduce him to a liability. But he walked out of a surgery that nearly killed him, carrying a stuffed panda, and he dropped it at the feet of the one person who never once stopped showing up. That is not a dangerous animal. That is a loyal one. Some dogs are not too much. They are exactly enough. And sometimes the ones the world works hardest to take from you are the ones you simply cannot live without. Would you have filled out those 17 forms? Tell me in the comments.